much a believer in the last person that touched them is the last person responsible for them.
Yeah, of course.
So regardless of before that, you know, you're taking on that project, it's now your responsibility.
Hi guys, it's Holly here at Faces. Welcome back to the Face It podcast. Today I'm joined by the wonderful Emily from Loulyluxe Beauty and Aesthetics. Emily, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're more than welcome. So, little background story. I've actually known Emily since she did her first aesthetics training. Was it the back end of last year? Like a year ago, about?
Oh, well, no, we're coming up 2 years now.
2 years? Oh my goodness. 2 years. Because I worked with Canvas, who are Face's sister company, and in the clinic. And I remember Emily and your mum came as well. And did you stay in like a farm?
Yeah, mum came, yeah.
I remember you like
she
farm or something. When you came,
yes, we stayed at a farm. Yeah, that's absolutely right. Yeah, we stayed at a farm. It was the best time as well, and it was boiling that weekend. It was like, you know, when we had that heat and it was like 38 degrees. Yeah,
yeah.
It was awesome.
Oh my god, time just flies. But do you know what? It's like a full circle moment, because it's like I'm now getting you on the podcast to talk about how successful your business is, which is like so humbling. I just love that. So just for everyone who doesn't know you, do you want to just give us a bit of background into why you got into the industry, how you got into the industry, and how you've managed to build your business to where it is today?
Absolutely. So my name's Emily and I'm from Tunbridge Wells in Kent. So a little bit further down, very much in the south compared to where you guys are. And I got into the industry because I do have a health condition, which we'll touch on later, I'm sure. But I've always had a passion for beauty. And it was sort of like I first trained in lashes, then massage, facials, and all those sorts of things, and organically grew a beauty business. That way, I wanted to be my own boss because of my health rather than working for someone else. And then the natural next step was to go into the aesthetic field, because what I found was I was very fortunate with my client base being more of the mature lady, and them asking me a lot of questions in regards to, you know, what can I do about skin texture? What can I do about under eye bags, or, you know, loss of volume in the lips and things like that? And it was just the natural progression to get into that side of things. It was, and what's crazy as well is that I was petrified of needles when I first trained. Petrified.
That kind of rings a bell, you know. I feel like I remember you being scared of doing it. I mean, a lot of people do get nervous, obviously, in their training, but that does really ring a bell, actually. Presumably you've got over that fear, or are you still a little bit?
Oh my goodness, yeah. And I'm fine with needles myself now. I think it was a fear of hospitals and being, you know, stabbed with a needle all the time made me so sort of like, oh my goodness. But now obviously I'm trained in aesthetics, I'm an advanced aesthetics practitioner and have loads of add-on things as well, that I'm just so used to how needles work now that it's really nice, because I get a lot of needle folks come to me as well, actually, and it's really nice because I can reassure them from being in that place that they were.
Oh my god, 100%. I think because when a client can like relate to you and vice versa, I think it definitely helps with that just reassurance, doesn't it? Because I think it's something that a lot of people are worried about. So obviously you touched on your client base and sort of, you know, they were almost sort of giving you the confidence to go into aesthetics due to maybe some concerns they have. I think it's a really good point to make, because there's only so much a basic facial can do or a serum can do, you know, and I think that's where aesthetics comes in, because the treatments that come under the aesthetics umbrella, such as skin boosters, Botox, your dermal fillers, they just do so much more than sort of your standard beauty treatments, don't they? And I think particularly when you've got more mature clients who, you know, are sort of concerned about, you know, the aging process or, you know, fine lines and wrinkles, it's these treatments which are kind of what they need, isn't it?
It is, and it's changing the perception around aesthetics as well. For me, it's been probably one of my biggest things. Like, I pride myself on safety. Like, that is my number one thing, regardless of who you are, how old you are, and what you want. for me, it's all about safety and how can we achieve those results in the safest way possible. Like I will always say, no matter what you want, if you come to me and you say, I want 3 mil on the lips, not happening. If you want, you know, X amount of something that's completely unrealistic, not happening. And it's managing those expectations safely as well, and just changing those perceptions, because unfortunately, and I know we're going to get onto regulations later, but unfortunately in the past there has been a lot of cowboy backstreet aesthetic practitioners, and unfortunately we are now fighting to have a better name for ourselves, if that makes sense. So yeah, the consultation process is thorough.
Yeah, amazing, and as it should be. And I think practitioners who, like you say, put the safety first, which everyone should be doing, but as we know, some people don't. That doesn't mean they're a non-medical practitioner either, you know. It's just some people, whether they're medic or non-medic, don't prioritize that. It does build the trust with you and your clients as well, you know, because I would be so much happier going to a practitioner who was like, you really just don't need that treatment, or that is not achievable, or you know, that is not actually gonna, us doing that treatment on you is not going to achieve the result of this person on Instagram that you are trying to look like. And that way you're going to build that trust, definitely. I actually came across a post about an hour ago on Instagram, and it was a picture that a clinic had put up of a client, and the client's lips were so incredibly big, and the caption, it was something like wouldn't normally do this, but what my client wants, my client gets, or something like that. And I was just like actually horrified. And you know, they clearly put that thinking, you know, that's going to bring more clients in, you know, the fact that I am happy to do whatever. But honestly, this lady's lips just, you know, I'm not going to sit here and bitch about it, but it's, you know, like you say, you've got to have your client's safety and your client's best interests at heart, regardless of how much you're going to spend.
Exactly that. And I've got one client that has got big lips. She came to me with big lips. She wanted more in those lips. I sent her away for 6-7 months, I think it was. She didn't have any in that time and came back to me. They deflated ever so slightly, but where she'd had so much build up, and she was adamant she didn't want them dissolved. Now, after a thorough consultation process and literally feeling every inch of those lips just to make sure that there was no lumps, no slight occlusions that had been left untreated for God knows how long, I agreed to treating her. She's my one exception and my one rule. And the reason I agreed to treating her and I won't post her on Facebook or Instagram because she's not my type of client. She's not my type of work I usually do. However, my agreement with her was, you come to me and me only because I know you will be safe and I will know the limits, okay? If you go elsewhere, I know they're just going to be pumping you full of filler, and I'm not having that on my watch. So she's my one exception to the rule, but I'm protecting her, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And does she understand that, and is she happy with that? Because I know sometimes turning away clients or practitioners can be difficult because it can actually upset the client, especially when they have an insecurity.
Absolutely. And I have had clients in the past. There was a client that I had in particular, and she just, well, this is actually quite funny. She's actually now trained in aesthetics.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you this story, you'll be like, are you joking, man? Anyway, she came and she had just the worst migration ever, and I said to her, this was right at the start of my career as well, and I said to her, this is a dissolve situation. I really thoroughly went through the whole consultation process, thoroughly, and I got bombarded with loads of messages afterwards, you know, saying, oh, you know, did you say this, did you say this? And I was completely reassured her and re-went through it all again, and she just would not have them dissolved at all. And I said, listen, if you're not happy with my, you know, my perspective on this, because safety is so important, then please, by all means, go back to your original practitioner and they should be able to correct them for you, because that's actually their work. And I'm very much a believer in the last person that touched them is the last person responsible for them.
Yeah, of course.
So regardless of before that. You know, you're taking on that project. It's now your responsibility.
Yeah.
And she went back to them and messaged me a couple of days later and said they're fine. I was like, well, they're going to say that because they're protecting their own skin. But a good practitioner should say to you, actually, yeah, you have migrated quicker than I thought you would, or, you know, maybe you had a training model slot and they've gone too close to your border, something like that, and correct them. But yeah, she just absolutely wouldn't do it, and now she's trained in aesthetics. So I thought, well, okay.
Good luck.
I wish you the best, honestly.
But yeah, no, I think you're so right, Emily. You know, client safety absolutely comes before anything else. And if you're a practitioner who has other priorities before that, such as finances, it's really not the right industry to be in. You know,
no, it isn't. Yeah. And the thing is, as well, with that, is that people, unfortunately, are getting into the industry because they think there's so much money in it. Now, don't get me wrong, money can be great, but what they don't see is all the hidden costs, your insurance, everything that you have to pay out for, cost of product, prescription costs, delivery on everything. They don't see that. So they might look at, for example, down here it's very typical to have 3 hours of Botox for £200, roughly. What they don't see is how much of that comes out for costs before you're even injecting, before you've even thought about your time.
Yeah,
it's not just £200.
Yeah,
the majority of it.
Yeah, exactly. You make what, a tenner? Like,
yeah,
like,
if you're lucky.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that there's so many. I mean, I could go on Instagram right now and I can guarantee there'll be sponsored posts of become a millionaire in 6 months, you know, like, or make £10,000 your first
month.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh my God, just people. I mean, so many people, especially with how the climate is at the moment, will look at that and be like, 1,000,000%, like, get me into that for the money. What I can say is all the people who I've spoken to, particularly on my podcast, but even sort of prior, who have been running their businesses successfully, you know, building that really strong client base, opening their own clinics, things like that, they do it because they have the passion for aesthetics. And the money is a bonus. Like, obviously everyone is in it to run their own business to earn a living, but when you actually have the passion at the forefront of everything you do, that is what is going to make you successful, because that is what clients will see. And
exactly. And that's in every walk of life as well, you know, not just aesthetics, not just beauty, whatever it is you're getting into, you cannot put the money first, because if you have a dry patch, then you're not getting money. Does that mean you hate it? You know, it can't work like that. So yeah, no, you have to be in it, absolutely, as you said, to be passionate about the services you're providing.
Yeah, 100%. So with regards to treatments then, Emily, so obviously you've added a lot of treatments to your treatment list since I last saw you. What kind of treatments are your clients loving at the moment, and what treatments are you enjoying offering to them?
So we've got a really big uptake at the moment in skin boosters, massively. So particularly Profilo, that is like on my number one. I used to use a lot of E-Gel 40, which is great as a slightly cheaper alternative, but you don't get results like you get with Profilo. Profilo is just wonderful. Especially, what I always say to my clients is, as the season changes, you know, you've just been through summer, been traveling, you're dehydrated, let's get you in now you can have some hydration over winter, and then we'll do the same just before summer. So yeah, definitely very, very popular at the moment.
Amazing. And is there anything else you're looking to train in at the moment? Have you got anything on your list?
Yeah, I do have something on my list. It's quite it's a little bit different rather than just injecting. I really want to go into doing a bit of laser work, get a laser machine and things like that. But that will be quite a big step. But I have got a couple of other focuses before that. Rather than training myself, I'm actually we will be becoming a training academy in January, so we'll be able to start offering those services. Amazing. I'm so excited.
So that is amazing. So there's two things here. So obviously the laser. So what I would say is, the clinics that I speak to who invest in a machine, they say that you get your money back so quickly, and particularly with a treatment like laser, everyone has hair. And it makes sense, you know,
Yeah,
everyone has unwanted hair somewhere on their body. And I think
exactly.
it's quite a nice kind of relationship building treatment, I would say, because you might find that someone will book in with you for laser and then you can start speaking to them about the other treatments or other concerns that they have. But I've heard that,
Exactly.
you know, it's a big hit in terms of a, you know,
Yeah,
investment, but apparently, well, because
it's just the initial sort of, you know, it's the initial pot of money that you need to just be able to
yeah,
go, oh, this is just
yeah.
for a machine. But it will work in our favour because I've just taken on a semi-permanent makeup artist as our third member of staff, and she actually does small tattoos. So if I can do the laser as well, it means I can get rid of old work for her to be able to do new work on. So yeah, it's on the list, but the training academy for me at the moment is more important because obviously that's sort of where my passion is now heading towards, is again because of the safety aspect, is teaching others to be safe and being thorough, you know.
Amazing. So what sort of the plans for the academy then? Are you going to be offering pathway or masterclasses or everything? What are you thinking?
Basically everything, and that will include the beauty courses as well, so like lash lift, brow lamination, you know, your sort of classics. But what I want to make us like slightly different is I want to be able to offer evening classes as well, so it's similar to what Canvas do, because around here, anyone that does sort of courses in Kent and stuff, or obviously that's very broad, I don't know every training academy, but it's very much sort of 9 to 5, those sorts of times. And if you're trying to train in something new, but you've still got a family or you're working full time, it's very difficult to just, you know, take 5 days out or 2 days out, depending on the course, to just be somewhere else without raising suspicions or anything like that. So being able to offer evening classes is a really, really nice option. And we don't actually have set opening times in the salon. We're very flexible to our clients. So that will carry on through into the training academy as well.
Amazing. Oh, well, huge congratulations. I love that. It's like I've seen you grow throughout your career and now you're like gonna go spread your knowledge with other people, which is incredible. So huge congratulations. And we'll have to redo the podcast when your training academy is open to kind of catch up and on what things are up to.
And then I'll be the one going, do you want to earn £40,000 a month?
I was like, what has it done to her? I feel like if I was looking to do training, I can imagine you being a really good teacher, to be fair, because safety is so important to you, but also you just have like a really nice way about you. Like you're very like comforting. Feel comfortable speaking with you.
I just try and make every single person welcome. Like that's my main thing. I've got a saying in the salon is that I don't care who you are and where you come from, as long as you're polite and you pay your bill. You know, for me that is so, so important because we don't discriminate on who you are, what your background is, whereabouts you come from, or what type of house you live in. I don't care. You know, it should be about that individual person, not their background or how much money they might spend with you. Because actually, you know, you should never judge a book by the cover at all. I mean, for me, I walk around in stained tracksuit bottoms on my normal day covered in hair because I've got basically a farm at this point in this house. So you know, you can't be like that. So yeah, it's very much to just make everyone as welcome as possible. So I appreciate that feedback. Thank you.
No worries. I know you touched on previously around, you know, one of the reasons why you wanted to get into the industry was due to your health. Do you want to just touch on that a little bit? Because I know it's something that is obviously very close to your heart and, you know, you're passionate about.
Yeah, very close. So I've got endometriosis, as I mentioned to you earlier. So I have been diagnosed for going on 9 years now. Now, I was very fortunate with my diagnosis. Usually it takes 7 to 9 years on average to be diagnosed with endometriosis. If you don't know what endometriosis is, it's a condition affecting your ovaries or it's sort of that area. And it basically, your body creates endometrial tissue, which should be inside the lining of the womb, and it can be found anywhere outside of the womb. It causes extreme pain. It's one of the most painful conditions for a woman. Now, I have had 6 surgeries for it so far, which is crazy. Yeah. And I am going on to my 7th within a matter of months. And actually, unfortunately, this time I've got to have a full hysterectomy. So it's a very serious condition. But as again, I mentioned to you earlier, since having the salon, I've had clients come to me that I don't know previously. They don't know anything about me. I don't know anything about them. And once we've got talking, turns out they've had endometriosis, or their sister has, or their best friend, and it's just become like a bit of a beacon, the salon just attracting these women. So it's very, very passionate subject of mine that I do talk about with everyone, because 1 in 10 women do suffer with it. So it's very common, actually.
You know what? I see quite a lot of things on social media around it, and I was speaking to someone yesterday around like the menopause, and I was like, I'm a woman and I don't even know much about the menopause at all, and it's about spreading this awareness, isn't it? But also from a client's point of view, kind of going back to sort of client care, that's you've obviously built like a safe space within your clinic, and clients tell their practitioners everything. Like, I feel like it's all this, I don't know what it is, but going to your practitioner is like, you just feel like you can offer like everything. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we're counsellors as well.
And I think that's amazing that so many women are coming to clinic, obviously without meaning to, it's just happened that some of them do have this condition, or they know someone with it, and it then offers a space to discuss it, because I think a lot of people suffer in silence, but also, like I say, it can often take so long to get diagnosis on this that I bet it's just an incredibly stressful time, because you kind of being turned away.
Sorry, it froze. Sorry, darling, it froze your head. So there's no actual cure as well for endometriosis. There is things that could help and can help, and it's such a spectrum of how much you suffer with the condition. It's the same as PCOS and other conditions that affect women. It's such a spectrum. But touching on the menopause, I've actually been in the menopause for the last 7.5 years due to my treatment plan. I was on Zoladex, which is chemically reversible, but again, it's another thing that I can bring to my clients and say, I understand. And I understand also that treatments can be a lot more painful when you're on your period, or you're going through menopause, or whatever it is. Once your hormones are heightened, it can be, so we just take it as it comes, really.
Yeah, but I think it's a really important topic to highlight. I think this is such a women-led industry, and we should be talking about these things, and we should be sort of educating ourselves so that clients can also kind of have those conversations and everything as well, because it's something that is obviously something that a lot of people do suffer with, but I think just going back to this kind of safety aspect, I think it's nice that you have built that little community and that safe space where women can come to you, knowing that you understand and that you can empathize with them because you've been there yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just has things have a weird way of working out, and I just feel like for a long time I was sort of almost victim blamed myself, and this very, very Kevin and Perry mentality of like, oh, this is so unfair, and it's very easy to do that, but naturally now I see it's a blessing. So and actually, following on from that, I'll actually just tell you something, because I know that we've slightly running out of time. But while I was off, because I've been off the last 3 weeks, unfortunately I've been quite poorly, in and out of hospital again, I actually got a message from a independent awards body, I guess, called Prestige Awards, and we've actually won Luxury Beauty Clinic of the Year 2023-24.
Oh, amazing! So, I bet that just made like that. Obviously, that time being off sick is horrendous, but I bet that just made like everything just feel that a bit better. So congratulate. Oh, I'm so happy for you, Emily. Like, I'm just so pleased. We've got 5 minutes left, so there's just a couple of other things I want to cover. So first of all, regulation. So obviously that's something which everyone's talking about at the moment. You're obviously a non-medic. You're also going to be going into the training academy side of things. How do you feel about everything, and what are your thoughts on everything regulation related?
I think it can't come soon enough, to be quite honest with you. It's quite a daunting thing when you think about it, because it's made into such a daunting thing, as everything is, as soon as it hits the social media or any type of media, or just sort of that general gossip. But if you're safe, and I think it's good just to be able to get these systems and processes in place. Again, it's things that maybe you thought, oh, I am doing that correctly, but when the regulations come out, you think, oh, well, at least I know I'm 100% doing it correctly now.
Yeah,
I think you know, it has to be. And this touches back on our cowboy builder type situation before. Hopefully it will start to eliminate those people that are messing other people's faces up. Hopefully we start to just keep the good people going, and you'll also find out who the good people are, because if they don't want to stick to those regulations and do that little bit of extra work, it will show.
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah, I completely agree with that. And just finally, with regards to faces, obviously you've used faces since your training, so since the beginning. How has using faces helped with the runnings of your business, and what features do you like to use on the app?
So Faces has changed a lot since the beginning, and actually we have quite a nice support group to, you know, be able to talk things through in there. But it is it's the only app I use. I can't lie to you. I used to have 2 or 3 calendars where I used to have like business and personal, but now I put it all into Faces because I just cannot stand having 3. And being able to add, you know, your bookings and your breaks and change the colours and all of that is just perfect for organisation. If you've got ADHD or anything like that, that I do struggle with, it's just perfect for organisation. And the best thing is once you've uploaded all of your certificates, your insurance, everything like that, you've got your pharmacy built in. Once they've completed a consent form, it's so easy to send over. Why would you want to use anything else? And every single person that comes in, or if I'm in an hour hospital and people are doing prescriber training, I'm like, get on Faces.
Yeah. Amazing. Thank you so much, Emily. Well,
thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the opportunity as well. And we will definitely catch up soon.
No worries, lovely. All right, you take care. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye, good day.
Bye.